Yo, what's up guys? We're back with another video today, and guys, this is gonna be my last video before I'm gone for a couple days. I just want to let you all know again before we start this video. But guys, in today's video, right, so obviously the UFC have abandoned the new gloves in favor of the old gloves, right? But during that era with the new gloves, there were only 20 fighters in the entirety of the UFC that wore the championship gloves. Now, what made the championship gloves different? Well, they were golden, representing like the championship belt. I'm not going to explain too much. This literally just happened, but for people who don't know, there you go. And now with the old gloves returning and the new ones gone, we're probably never going to see like the golden gloves again. And so I thought, why not recap and like showcase all the fighters that wore the UFC golden gloves? And I'm going to show who the people are chronologically in order, starting from when they were first introduced and when they were last introduced. So without further ado, let's get into them. Alright, now the first person who wore these gloves were both Islam Makhachev and Dustin Poirier. Islam Makhachev was the first UFC champion to ever wear these gloves, whereas Dustin Poirier was the first contender to wear these gloves. And honestly, like overall, like their fight was an absolute banger. It was on, in my opinion, it was fight of the year for 2024. And I'm not gonna lie, I think that the gloves overall, they look good on Islam in my opinion. There are some fighters that don't look good on them, but Islam, I feel it makes sense because he's a champion. He's one of the best fighters in the world right now, if not the best. So I feel like it makes sense for him to have the golden gloves. And for Dustin Poirier, well, Dustin Poirier was the first contender to wear these gloves, and Poirier was the first person to lose with the golden gloves as well. So unfortunate as a Poirier fan, you know. Now the second event that had these fighters wear them were Alex Pereira and Yuri Prochazka. Alex Pereira, what makes him different compared to all these other guys on this list is the fact that he is the only fighter to fight more than once with these golden gloves. He fought UFC 303 and UFC 307, making him the only fighter out of all these guys to fight twice with these golden gloves. And as far as Yuri Prochazka goes, he only fought them once, and unfortunately he got knocked down like the second round, so you know, it sucks for him. Alright, now the third pay-per-view event that had these fighters wearing them were Leon Edwards and Belal Muhammad. Fun fact, Leon Edwards was the first champion to lose the belt while wearing the golden gloves. Yeah, it was rough for him. He got absolutely dominated by Belal Muhammad, and Belal Muhammad was the first UFC contender to win the belt while wearing the golden gloves. Like these are some facts I feel like some people don't look at. They're nothing crazy, but I just thought I'd just bring them up, you know, for this video. Now, also on UFC 304, we had two other people fighting for the championship belt. Tom Aspinall and Curtis Blaydes. Listen, technically Tom Aspinall is not the champion, but who gives a shit? Come on. Tom Aspinall is the undisputed heavyweight champion. He's done more in the heavyweight division than what John Jones has, but technically he is the interim champion. And actually, it is quite interesting that if you're an interim champion, you still have to wear the golden gloves. I just thought that was something, when I was making this video, I thought that was actually pretty interesting that even though you're not technically the champion, you still get to wear the golden gloves. And also, here's a fun fact for Curtis Blaydes. Curtis Blaydes is the quickest contender to lose the belt while wearing the golden gloves. It lasted a total of 60 seconds, not even more than a minute this fight took. Absolutely crazy that it took Tom Aspinall only less than a minute to beat Curtis Blaydes. Listen, I'm not a Curtis Blaydes hater. I just thought that was something very funny to point out, you know? Alright, for UFC 305, there wasn't much going on. There was only one titleship bout that took place on this card, and that was Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya. Now, there's not much really to talk about this fight in particular, apart from the fact that these two did not like each other, and Dricus du Plessis was able to win the fight. I will say, this fight was actually really entertaining. I actually genuinely did like this fight. It was probably one of the better fights out of all these fights on this card. And I do want to also say, like, I actually think that the golden gloves work pretty good. Like, around this point, when we had the golden gloves era, I was kind of getting used to them. And so, with Dricus du Plessis and Adesanya, I thought that they both looked really good with the golden gloves. Like, when we had Islam and Poirier, Alex and Yuri, and Leon and Bilal, I wasn't a big fan at that point, to be honest, but when we got to, like, Dricus du Plessis and Israel Adesanya, I started to, like, get used to them. They still, like, something else that the Golden Gloves had, which was a big problem with, like, the new gloves in general, was the fact that the KO rate for, like, your average fight just went down dramatically when they were introduced. Like, it was actually crazy. I'm pretty sure UFC 302 had, like, I know it didn't even have any KO finishes or anything like that. I don't even think it had like one TKO, but that was like when the guy was like on the ground, he was like TKOing him. But regardless, like there was a big problem with the fact that these gloves had a reduction of KO power. The next pay-per-view that took place was UFC 306 with Sean O'Malley, Merab, and also for the co-main, Valentino Shevchenko and Alexa Grasso. Alright, here's another fun fact for you guys. Sean O'Malley was the last champion, as far as the men's division goes, to lose the belt while wearing the golden gloves, making Merab also the last contender to win the belt with the golden gloves as well. I mean, to be honest, guys, like, the performance that Sean O'Malley had against Merab, like, I thought it was, like, weird. Like, he looked very stiff in that fight, but still, he lost the fight while wearing the golden gloves. And, like, do I think that O'Malley can beat Merab? Maybe, I don't know, but I think there is a chance he can. I think he has a better chance than Umar, in my opinion. That might be a hot take right there, but I think that Sean O'Malley can win the belt back, but like, the performance he had against Merab was, like, it wasn't a good sign. Even though I thought Sean O'Malley looked more stiff and, like, weird in that fight, it's still not a good performance regardless. Alright, now also for the co-main, we had Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko. Now here's also another fun fact. Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko were both the first women to wear the golden gloves in UFC history, right? Alexa Grasso was also the first female fighter to lose the belt while wearing the golden gloves as well, making Valentina Shevchenko the first female fighter to win the belt while wearing the golden gloves. Technically, Alexa Grasso was the champion with the golden gloves, but Valentina was the first champion to win the belt with them. I've just said golden gloves so many times, but you get the point. Alright, now for UFC 307, we had 4 fighters on that card who wore the golden gloves, but I already talked about Alex Pereira, so we're not going to include him on here. We're only going to involve Khalil Roundtree, Raquel Pennington, and Juliana Pena. Now, for Khalil Roundtree, there's not much really I can say. He didn't win the belt with him. It was his first time wearing the golden gloves. The only thing I can really say about Khalil Roundtree is, for one, I actually think that he also looks really good with the golden gloves. I don't know why. Some fighters with the normal black gloves, they don't look good with them. But when some of these like fighters wear the golden gloves, I actually think they look much better with them on them. And when you mix in with Khalil Roundtree with the white pants and the golden gloves, like I said with Adesanya, like, Khalil didn't have custom shorts on, but I just think that combo looks really good on Khalil. Also, the fight with Khalil and Alex Pereira was an absolute banger, I gotta say that. Alright, now for the co-main for UFC 307, we had Raquel Pennington and Juliana Pena. Now, as far as this goes, technically, Raquel Pennington is actually the last champion to lose her belt while she had the golden gloves on. And Juliana Pena is the last person to win the belt while having the golden gloves on as well. I mean, that's as much as I can talk about this fight. This fight, man, it was actually so ass. This was, we all knew this was gonna be ass. We all knew it. But, like, oh my god, it was horrible to watch. Alright, now the last pay-per-view to have the UFC Championship fights we had was Ilia Topuria and Max Holloway. So they were both the last fighters to wear the golden gloves, which is fitting because that was probably the biggest fight in 2024 and was one of the biggest fights in a while, to be honest. And again, I think Ilia Topuria with the golden gloves actually looked really good on him, especially with the custom shorts. You know, it's got like a reddish, goldish color, and when you mix that in with the golden like gloves and the belt he has, I think that looks really good on Ilia Topuria, I'm not gonna lie. Now, here's also another fun fact. Max Holloway is the last UFC fighter to lose while wearing the golden glove. I don't know why that's a fun fact. I don't know why I put that in there. I just thought that was just something I found interesting. I'm not a Max Holloway hater, guys. I'm not a Max Holloway hater. I was heartbroken when he lost to Ilia Topuria, but you get it. But guys, that is me covering all the UFC fighters in chronological order that wore the golden gloves. Let me know what you guys thought about this video. Who was your favorite guy to wear the golden gloves? Who looked the best? Who looked the worst? You know, let me know, to be honest. Leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace!